Hello guys, this is just a short video that I'm making to tell you about my feedlot here in Randfontein in Gauteng, South Africa. I basically got 4 kraals here. Kraal 1 is the kraal that's getting sold in the end of this month. This cattle here weigh in the region of 500 kilograms plus. In South Africa we work in kilograms, not in pounds. So this calves here went through a 3 to 4 months feeding process, a minimum of 90 days, where they fed a formula that I will explain to you in another video. The formula is put together with roughage and proteins and chop and all kinds of things that we get in South Africa, but I'll explain that to you later. You can look at the quality of this cattle. Some of them grown a lot better. Look at the muscling on this calf, for example. All the calves in this kraal. I've got too many A3s. I don't think there's many A1s in this kraal. In this kraal is only meat cattle. We don't buy like a Jersey or a Fries cows or calves. They feed much slower, they grow much slower. There's about 36 in this kraal. The interesting factor that I can show you in this kraal is the horns. You don't see it so much on a black horn, but on a redder, on a white horn, you can see it a little bit on this one. But if the horns are red in color, they were it's supposed to be white. If you look nicely there, you can see the horn actually turned red, and that readiness means that the cow, the bull, got enough protein inside his blood to make him grow faster. This kraal's weight is between, can I say, 450 upwards. Most of them are going to get slaughtered in the region of 500 to 600. There is some of them that's over 600, but that's like this one here will go over 600. But that's not the ideal weight. You want ideally 500 to 550, that's ideal. In this kraal you must get a growth factor of in the region of about 2 kilograms per day, as high as 2.3. You don't get much higher than 2.3. This is the kraal 2 in our language. This kraal is in the region of 380, 400 kilograms upwards to maybe 400. This kraal don't get growth factor. This kraal get a growth factor that make them to muscle a lot better, and the slaughtering percentage is much higher with the growth factor. Where this kraal only get feed, they do have a button in the ear like a hormone that we inject in the ears to make them grow better. But this kraal is going on the growth factor next month. After the 30th of this month, they're going to the kraal 1. This kraal is about 55. It's very important of the actual size of the kraal in comparison to the amount of cattle there. The cattle, I'll give you the formulas later, but the cattle must have space to eat, because you get more dominant cattle that will push the other ones away, something like that. So there must be sufficient space for everybody, for all the cattle to eat. It's very important that some of your cattle must be lying down, like those ones in the back. If they do lie down, then it means your feed is sufficient to feed them. If they don't lie down, they keep standing, it means they're still hungry. The feeders don't have enough growth factor in them to feed them. There must always be salt inside the kraal for just as much as they like. So salt, there's a lot of elements that the cattle need that's inside the salt, which is very important. Yeah, this is kraal 2. If you look at this calf, I don't want to go too close, but you see the color of the horns is red. That's where you actually can see that there's sufficient protein inside the feed. If the horns stay white on that when they arrive here after a month or two, that horns must turn completely red. The actual protein content in his blood must go up quite a bit for him to grow. This is our kraal 3. There's one, that black and white calf is a Nguni. We're not so much into Nguni, but that one is crossed with Brahman. That's the only reason he's here. But there's no milk cattle in this kraal. It's only meat cattle. There's in all of my kraals only male cattle. We don't have female. You don't mix a female and a male cattle. That males will chase the females the whole day. He'll never get to the point that he's actually put his attention to get fat and to eat. So if you feed females, like I've got some 2 females on this side, but they cross a road to the other cattle. They mustn't be close by. The females, unfortunately, like the male cattle, heads in another direction. So we keep the male. We only feed males. Males also feed a lot faster. They pick up weight a lot faster. And when you slaughter the day, you'll slaughter percentage. If you slaughter a carcass of 600 kilograms, on that kraal 1, you'll get a 50% carcass weight of your original 600 kilograms. Where on the females, you'll probably get a 53 to 56% carcass weight. So your actual weight that you're losing in terms of your slaughtering on a female is bad. It's not as good as a male. So you try not to feed females. Unfortunately, in the packages you get some females in when you buy. This kraal here is our kraal 4. That kraal 3. We start on 300 upwards. If you want to have a feedlot and you got limited cash flow, only have those 3 kraals. Buy on 300 kilograms and sell feed for 90 days. Then you got the right amount of then you can have a feedlot. Do that with 10 or 20 or 30, whatever you can afford. But to feed cattle is very expensive. Every one of these heads costs about at least between 40 and 50 rand a day to feed. The feeding they eat is really pricey. It's in a region of about 4,000 rand a ton. If you feed a lot cheaper than that, you normally give substandard feeding. You must not. One of the very expensive lessons I've learned in feeding is don't save too much money on feed. Give them good feed and you get good return. If you give them substandard feeding, you will have substandard return. This is kraal 4. Kraal 4 is basically a kraal that you prepare for kraal 3. Kraal 3 want cattle of the weight of 300 upwards, or 280 at least upwards. Kraal 4 prepare them. So we buy in this kraal. In everything we buy, we deworm and we give them all the medicine and so forth that I'll explain in a later video. But on this kraal we get them healed and ready to feed, and there they get used to the feed that they're going to get. And then once they go to kraal 3, they can only go to kraal 3, that kraal, once the cattle weigh 280 upwards. So this is where they get prepared for kraal 3. So here's cattle here from 180, 200, 230, but they stay in this kraal until they weigh 280, which which is quite fast. On this kraal you get a weight gain of about 1.4 to 1.6 kilograms a day. Here you start going to 1.7, 1.8 kilograms a day. On kraal 2 you get the average of, like I say, 1.8 to 2 kilograms a day. And then kraal 1 is where you gain the most weight, but where they eat the most. The more heavier cattle is, the more they eat. We work on a food consumption of about 3 to 3.2% of his weight of his body. That amount of food he eat per day. So if this calf weigh 400, he's going to eat roughly 12 kilograms, 12.5 kilograms of feeding per day. So that's how you can determine what it's going to cost you to feed that calf per day, and then do that for 90 days. And this kraal here, that handsome man across there is very shy. This kraal here is what we just bought in. It's a new lot that we just bought, and getting medicine and preparation to go into kraal 4.